So, you just got lost in the forest, didn't you? Let's look at the bright side. You have about 3 days of food and water, so that means that you have about a week to find your way out. Or it means that you have about a week to walk around in circles and die. Well, for once, I'm totally out of ideas. No good berries? Oh, wait a minute. I got it. Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Monsters Misguided. This episode is sponsored by the deck of Mini. This time we're going over Dryads. They can show us the way out of here for sure. Hey there, ladies. Okay, here's the deal. You go talk to them and figure out where we gotta go. I got some stuff to do over here. All right, run along, Skip. Where was I? Oh, right. Dryads are a really dense CR1 creature with quite a handful of abilities, and I'm going to break them all down for you today. For starters, Dryads are a medium creature with an AC of 11, 22 hit points, and the highest charisma score out of all the base CR1 creatures. Their stats array is as shown, with much of their bulk being placed in mental stats. Their Fey nature gives them excellent perception and stealth bonuses, as well as advantage on magical saving throws and other magical effects. Furthermore, they can communicate with both animals and plants and use a portion of their movement to teleport between trees within 60 feet of each other, which is, needless to say, really cool. As with a handful of other Fey creatures, a Dryad has the ability to innately cast several spells. Dryads can use Druidcraft, cast Entangle, Goodberry, and Barkskin, Pass Without Trace, and Shillelagh, with no material components and a save DC of 14. As far as attacks go, Dryads make use of a club attack. A Dryad also has access to the Fey Charm ability and is able to force anyone that can see her to make a Wisdom saving throw or be made to regard the Dryad as a trusted friend and ally and act favorably on her requests. That wraps up the stat breakdown. Moving on! In this episode, I'll be doing something different from other Monsters Misguided. I'll be going over some Skeletal Encounters centered around Dryads for you to plug into your campaigns, assuming your setting includes Dryads at all. Some of these will be left rather vague, so you can tool around with them however you want. To begin, let's start small. The party is passing through an area with heavily scorched ground and evil-looking flora. In a clearing of green in the dense purple and black woods, they meet a Dryad propped up against a stump, seemingly injured. She offers the party a reward if they can take some seeds out into the blight and plant them for her, in a line leading to a clear hilltop. Should they agree, they need to take the seeds out from the clearing, planting them every 60 feet across the infested ground. With the first seed planted, the party is soon swarmed by corrupted plant monsters of your choice, though I'd advise keeping them low CR for the first rounds, ramping up the difficulty with each one. The seeds complete growing in 4 rounds, with the Dryad arriving to assist the party if need be. Once they get all the seeds planted, and beat whatever monster you threw at them in the end, the Dryad leads them up the hill and recovers a cache of earthy goodies. A handful of magical weapons, potions, scrolls. This end is rather open, so you can toy around with it however you want. Is there one last boss fight? Does the Dryad request the party to help her destroy the blight completely? Is it all part of a deeper conspiracy? Who knows? It's up to you. Let's imagine the party is traveling around and encounters a group of injured Dryads tending to their wounds. They tell the party of a civil war they're currently battling in against a splinter group of Dryads who are trying to secure total control over the sacred pond that they were sworn to protect. The side that makes contact with the party tells them of the splinter group's leader, a scarred and deformed ancient Dryad who wishes to use the pond to return herself to her former glory, at the cost of the pond's magic and all magic in the area. The loyalist Dryads, should the party take up arms against the insurgents, have them work at loosening the ancient Dryad's hold over the pond. This can be achieved however you'd like, be it burning down encampments or stealing supplies and intel to launch a counterattack. Eventually, the players reach the ancient Dryad and close out the quest with a boss fight, or, should things have gone more smoothly, a tense negotiation where the party must lead the ancient Fae to accept her own mortality. All up to you as the DM. Perhaps this one's reward is something a little more potent. Maybe the party can drink from the pond, granting them each a nature-themed boon befitting of their level. Maybe you're looking for something that more readily relies on roleplay or harmless skill challenges. Perhaps the party finds a group of pixies and Dryads drinking each other under the table. Nothing much to see at first until the party realizes that these are the gate guards that are supposed to allow them passage over the super dangerous chasm of super dangerous danger. The drunken Dryads tell the party that if one of them wins a drinking contest, they'll let them through. The pixies, drunkenly assuming the party are spies from some evil group, want to deny passage altogether. These sort of brick wall RP encounters are a fun way for your players to attempt to get something. They push, the NPCs push back harder. Maybe, on the way to find a piece of treasure during a quest, the party arrives and discovers a Dryad had beaten them to it and is currently exiting the dungeon with what the players need. She tells them it's part of a valuable Dryad artifact that her people need. The players can either let her have it or figure out a way to get it from her. Maybe she doesn't seem that committed to the whole sacred artifact thing and is willing to bargain for it. If the players are being pushy for it, maybe she tells them of an equally valuable, less sacred treasure hidden in the same dungeon. The party must then go, solve a puzzle or two, and then recover the other artifact. Finally, maybe the players aren't even out in nature. Maybe they're in a museum or something and they find a Dryad, 100% alive, on display behind some glass. She obviously would like out, and she says she can put in a good word with her enclave if the party can get her out. It's then up to the party to figure out how to get the museum owner out of keeping the Dryad, but it's quite difficult, as he believes she was magically poisoned and that freeing her would damage the land where she walked. Is he right? Up to you, as usual, but RP encounters where the players must act as a mediator between two opposing parties have the potential to be either very rewarding or very disastrous if you misjudged your players' priorities and they just jumped to swords within the first 3 minutes. Either way, I hope you found these Dryad-themed encounters / quests / seeds, no pun intended, to be helpful and or inspiring. That wraps up this episode of Monsters Misguided. Thanks for sitting through my hiatus. I've just had some real-world stuff happening that I needed to adjust to. But before I wrap this video up, I'd like to thank my sponsors at the Deck of Many. They're creating cards for spells and magic items and pretty much everything else to help players and DMs play and run the game smooth as butter. Have I mentioned that the front of the cards are animated? It's dope as hell. You can learn more at the link in the description. Anyway, how do you guys like this format of Monsters Misguided? I'm not always happy with how story scripts turn out, so I'm constantly working on new formats for this series. Leave a comment, tell me what you thought. Lastly, I'd like to give a big thanks to all my patrons. You guys are great! Every little bit helps, so if you can, go drop $1. That's all for me, so I'll be seeing you next time. Ideally, a lot sooner than a month later. Bye bye.